this comes to light. They find out that he's been gambling and there's $200,000 of debt that she didn't know about. Or there's 4 other women in his life, or she's had an affair, or she racked up a whole bunch of spending debt. Okay, whatever the addiction process is. Usually the awareness of addiction is very rapid, it's very fast, it's unexpected, and it's brutal to the unsuspecting spouse. This is the stage where addiction either gets exposed, identified, you find a phone number, pornography, you find the alcohol, the addiction becomes exposed. Now, stage 2 can be progressive. The couple fights more. The addict is making more poor choices in their social life, in their financial life, having questionable friendships, having time they can't explain, money that they can't explain. There starts to be this tension in the addiction stage. Even before disclosure, this tension can exist, and you've probably already experienced this. Okay, the addict seems stuck in adolescence or childhood, especially when there's conflict. If they get rejected or they get questioned, they act like a 10 or 12-year-old. Okay, and I strongly recommend you watch the DVD. If you marry a child, don't expect a man right away. If you're still experiencing this immaturity, it really can help you walk through that stage. But it's like the person's not really growing up. Maybe we were party types, but now we got to be mom and dad and be responsible, but they can't figure out how to do that. The addict's insight into themselves is very limited. They can't see that they're making bad choices. They can't see that they're wrong. They can't see that their friends are bad for them. They can't see that going to a strip club is inappropriate. They can't see these things. And it's very frustrating for the spouse who is spiritually, emotionally, morally developing and moving on and making better choices and taking more responsibility for their life and the life of their family. Okay? And then there's usually some kind of activating event, a DUI. The affair partner calls the home. Phone numbers from girlfriends or guy friends found. Porn on the computer. I can tell you hundreds of crazy stories on how this activating event could happen, but you've already experienced your own if you're watching this DVD. This is where the couple realizes things have not been good for a while, and the addiction makes total sense as to why the marriage has been so challenging and difficult and getting harder, and it feels like we're walking up a mountain as opposed to just enjoying each other. The other way, the transition from stage 1 before addiction into stage 2, it can be very abrupt. An arrest, again, affair, our child pornography is shown on the computer, and something illegal could be happening. A unique activating event can expose the addiction in a second, okay? And this is totally out of the blue. They would both say that the marriage was good, things were going well, and then whammo, this comes to light. They find out that he's been gambling and there's $200,000 of debt that she didn't know about. Or there's 4 other women in his life, or she's had an affair, or she racked up a whole bunch of spending debt, okay? Whatever the addiction process is. And rarely is it disclosed voluntarily by the addict if it's going this way. It's wonderful if it does, but it usually is an activating event that exposes the addiction externally that makes the couple have to deal with it and identify it. Usually the awareness of addiction is very rapid, it's very fast, it's unexpected, and it's brutal to the unsuspecting spouse. And I want to stop here for a minute because this event can really be experienced as trauma for that spouse. And if you're watching this and you're the addict, I want to spend a few minutes, and if you're dealing with sex addiction, I recommend the DVD Helping Her Heal. It really goes into the trauma of what can happen to a spouse when addiction is exposed. Even if you come forward and say, hey, I'm dealing with a drug problem, I'm dealing with a porn problem, I'm having affairs, I'm out of control, I'm in adult bookstores, I don't know what to do. Okay, even then, it's a shattering of their world. The fairy tale is over. this is now, what world am I living in? The spouse has been legitimately traumatized by the information. And depending on her past or his past of trauma, this might be their first one, this might be their fifth one. And it may take them a while to heal. And there's lots of factors involved with the spouse's healing of the addict. And I don't have time to develop all that now. We have lots of materials for spouses. I encourage you to check that out on our website, drdougweiss.com. But I just want to say this. If you're the addict, you want to do some research and information on the impact the addiction has had on the spouse. I find that the addict who can develop some form of empathy for what the spouse is going through is really better equipped to help the marriage than the person who is so self-absorbed and it's all about them. Their addiction was all about them. Now the recovery is all about them, and it's still all about them. And I would really encourage, if you're the addict, to take some time, get some materials related to the spouse of your addiction, and read that stuff and look at that stuff so that you can maybe identify some of the impact moving from stage one, which is Camelot and things are wonderful, I trust my husband, I trust my wife, and then whammo, getting hit, and what those fractures can actually mean for the soul of the spouse.